Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the War Train here. Do me a favor, if you're not already subscribed, think about subscribing to the channel, guys. I try to put gaming content out like this on a regular basis, and if you guys enjoy this video, do me a favor, please give it a thumbs up. Now with that said, today's video, I want to talk about games that you haven't finished. Now, I am extremely guilty of this, and I'm sure you guys are too. Especially as a collector and a gamer, it's probably even worse. And for those of you that are collectors as well, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. For when you start a game that you're really interested in, you're having a great time, you're playing through it, and you get stuck. Or you realize you got to go back, maybe grind a little bit to get past a certain area because you're underpowered. So you wind up maybe taking a break, and that break becomes a long break, and then before you know it, you're on another game. Because let's face it, these things are coming out all the time. There's always new games coming out, and some of these are maybe something you weren't even taking a break. You were just playing another game, and then all of a sudden something else came out that you were real excited to play, and then you start playing that one. Before you know it, you forgot about the last one, and then you have this huge just amount of games that you haven't finished. And this can happen to anybody, honestly. And I have a ton of games that this has happened to me with, to be honest. I have a bunch of games that I haven't even opened yet, that are still in the wrapper, and I'll probably wait to even open them until I even have time to play them. There's definitely not enough time, but there is a lot of games as well that I have finished, along with the huge amount that I have. Now, I wanted to go over some of the games that maybe I have finished, some of the ones that I haven't, and when you watch this, let me know in the comments what are some of the video games that you guys might have stopped and wanted to get back to, but maybe never finished, but you plan on going back to, you just haven't done it yet. Because I'm sure it'd be very interesting to hear the lists from you guys. What you guys were playing and maybe haven't got a chance to finish. Now, I want to start off with some recent ones. One recent one that I really like, and just for whatever reason I got stuck and I haven't finished, is Star Wars, Jedi Falling Order. Fantastic game, absolutely great. Jedi Fallen Order is an awesome game, and I was having a blast playing it. The game looks great, the story's great, the gameplay, lots of fun, but for whatever reason, I got stuck on some puzzle elements and just moved on. And I haven't jumped back since. I did freeze on the game at one point where I did stop and almost had that happen sooner, but then I jumped back on it and played. And got further into the game and then got stuck again. That's one thing about me, is I do go back and play games. Even if it was 8 months, a year later, sometimes I'll jump back into them and I'll finish them. Now, I hate to have such a long gap in between playing because you do forget a lot of stuff. Some games, this is almost impossible to do, is jump back into them. Say like a Legend of Zelda game. Super hard to just come back to it later, jump in and try to finish it, because you might not remember what you're even doing. So that can be a problem. Now, as far as a game like The Legend of Zelda, I've been trying to finish every Legend of Zelda game. And there's still games that I haven't finished, because there is a ton of games in the franchise. I never finished Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, a game that you have to beat both of the games to actually really beat the game. So that's something I will be working on, because now I want to say, a playable way of every single Legend of Zelda game. I'm pretty sure I have all of them, physical anyway. So pretty sweet. I know there's digital ways that I can play it as well, but physically I have pretty much all the games covered now, so there's pretty much no excuse for me to go through and be able to beat all the games. Now, something like Breath of the Wild, It's my favorite game. If you watched any of my videos with collections, Switch collection especially, you see that I have a bunch of copies of Breath of the Wild, and there's good reason. It is my favorite game of all time, hands down. Legend of Zelda franchise is my favorite franchise. There's many games in that franchise that are just my all-time favorite games. They're just always done really, really well. And I really like the story. I like the familiarity in some of the games. It's just kind of my comfort zone. Something like Breath of the Wild, though, I put more hours in that game than any other game I've ever played. And that's something that I beat countless times. And I'm talking not just, finished Ganon or whatever. I mean, I finished all the shrines, all 120 of the shrines, and all 4 divine beasts, I think like 3 or 4 times. That's how many times. I did it on multiple profiles, on multiple switches, and I also did it on master mode. Now, that was by far the hardest way to play it because they regenerate health if you don't take them out completely, they actually build their health back up. So that way took me even longer to beat because it was that much harder, and that's including beating the DLC, which was so hard on master mode. Especially the very last boss of the DLC was just god awful hard. Wow, that took me a while, hours and hours to finally beat him. But that by far is my favorite game. But now I can go through and I can make sure that I have finished every Breath of the Wild every Zelda game. Got Breath of the Wild on the mind. But there's so many other games. Say Dragon Quest Builders 2, a game I absolutely loved it. Didn't even think I would be, even remotely a fan of the game. I winded up actually really loving the gameplay. It's just so addictive. But I wanted to finish it, but I never did. It's a huge, huge game. It's pretty much endless, but there is a story to it, and the story is really good. That's a game I want to get back and finish, and in time I will get back and finish that one. Same with Dragon Quest XI Echoes of Elusive Age. A phenomenal game. I absolutely love the story of that game, and it looks fantastic on Nintendo Switch. That was a port that they did just a great job on, and that's a game that I actually really want to finish, but again, I got stuck on a boss. I need to go back and grind, so I kind of just got stuck and I moved on to another game. And usually I'm playing probably about 5 games at any given time. I'm playing on multiple systems. It's all over the place, so I'm trying to always progress in multiple games. And sometimes that can be good, and other times it can be distracting where I get sidetracked maybe in a different game because I'm making progress in another. But there is games that I, have finished. The newest Call of Duty, that game, short campaign, and I felt like I got my money's worth out of the game. And I didn't mind it being short because I was able to finish it. I mean, with a lot of these games being 40, 60, 80, 100, 120 hours long of gameplay, it's easy to just get sidetracked on a game like that, and it was nice to actually play something a little bit shorter that had a start and an end that didn't take, months maybe to get through. So I did appreciate that. There was just no filler. It got to the point and got out before it overstayed its welcome. So that I did like. And something like Octopath Traveler, that was a long game. I want to say I put probably anywhere between 80 to 120 hours into that game. I did wind up watching the credits roll for all 8 of the characters, but there is more gameplay to that game that I just never finished. I don't know what you would actually call the end of that game. I don't know, some people call it watching the credits roll. Some people would say you'd have to do all that, end game stuff, basically to get the real ending or whatever, to fight the real bosses. But regardless, I seen the credits roll on 8 characters, even played quite a bit past that. I mean, hours and hours past that, but just could not beat those extra bosses later in that game. They're just really hard, and you just have to grind to build up to a certain level. These battles can take up to 35, 40 minutes of battle. Same thing with what is it? Three Houses. You know, yeah, what a great game. Fire Emblem Three Houses, another one. The battles can last so long. One battle can be 35, 40, 45 minutes. And to put that much time into it and then fail, that can be crushing and can easily distract you and kind of deter you from going back. Now, I was on the last battle of the house that I chose, which was the Eagle house. So I was on that, love the story, I wanted to see it through, still do. I really need to get back and finish that, but man, the battle is tough. I really need to see if I can grind, but I don't even know if I can. Once you get to a certain point in that game, once you cross a certain point, you can't do anything else but finish that battle. So I really got to see if I have any other save points before that where I can actually grind just a little bit more to see if that will help, or just keep practicing and finally just see if I can finish it. But I played that last battle, I want to say a good 8 to 10 times and just could not get past the dragons. But a great game, and I want to beat it so that I can play one of the other houses. But that's another game that you're going to dump countless and countless hours into. There's just so much to these games. They're so large, and there's so many of them. Like another one that I'm really happy I made it through was Red Dead Redemption 2. That game, phenomenal story. I was totally hooked to the gameplay and the story loop of that game. So glad that I finished it just to see how it all wrapped up in the end and how it kind of introduced the original game, because this one was a prequel. I liked how it actually introduced that stuff. I thought that was really good, and I just love the writing in that game. Rockstar did a phenomenal job. But this is what I'm talking about. These games now are so large, and it's worth it to finish them through, because otherwise you're missing out on so much. Now, what are some of the games that you guys, maybe started and didn't finish? Gears of War 5, another one. That's a recent one that I actually started. I'm probably right at the end of the game, but for whatever reason, I haven't finished it. So I really need to get back into that game and just finish the story. I just really want to see how it wrapped up, because I'm looking forward to the next one, because I didn't finish Gears 4, and I wish I did. But that one was probably, in my opinion, one of the weaker mainline Gears of War games. It was my least favorite, even though there was some really good parts. 5 is definitely just leagues better, and I really want to see that one through. But there's just so many of these games. The Witcher, that's another one. I've never finished The Witcher. I love the writing in that game. I like the gameplay. It does look amazing. It plays awesome on Switch. There's no reason now I can't get, through that game on Nintendo Switch, being it's portable. The whole problem is I got stuck. I got stuck, in a spot, and I just need to go grind. It's as simple as that. Some of these games, you can be underpowered, and then you got to go back, you got to grind for a while, then you can proceed. But that kind of stuff is definitely a deterrent sometimes. There's just so many games that I can talk about that I've started and just haven't finished. Control, that's another one. Absolutely great game. And I just, for whatever reason, got sidetracked. Never finished it. The gameplay, fantastic. The game looks phenomenal. And, like I said, there's just countless amounts of games I can name that this happens. Now, like I said, for pretty much every, I'd say, probably 3 that I don't finish, there is one that I do finish. So I am still completing games. It's just there's not enough time to complete all these. And so you also have to be picky and choosy which ones, you're playing all the way through. Because there's just so many, and there's only so much time, and these games, a lot of them are just so long, and you definitely get your money's worth on some of these, that's for sure. And there's, with so many consoles, with so many just games for each system, it can be a daunting task. and your backlog just grows and grows and grows, so it can definitely be overwhelming. But let me know what games you guys are currently playing or currently beat, and what games maybe you were playing and you just got sidetracked for whatever reason. You got stuck at a boss, you got, to a point where you couldn't get past a puzzle, or you were underpowered and needed to grind, and for whatever reason you stopped playing but really want to go back and finish. I'd love to hear what you guys are playing and would love to hear what you guys didn't finish. Let me know in the comments, and if you're not already subscribed, think about subscribing, guys. I try to put gaming content out like this on a steady basis, and if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. But that's it, guys. I'm the War Train, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.